Hello, Second Civics viewers. My name is Friggity Frank Gallo, and today I have a video that is about a question. In this case, a very particular and strange question that me and my dad were talking about like 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were on our road trip out in the Midwest. Basically, me and my dad were in the car, we were bored, we decided to have a conversation about something, and the conversation ended up going to what is the biggest city in the United States that doesn't have a professional sports team. And me being me and me being curious, I just needed to find out. So as soon as I got home from that road trip, I sat down on my computer and I resolved to figure it out. And here are my results. Before we get to the video, I want to define what a Major League Sports team is. A Major League Sports team is a member of one of the 5 major sports leagues: the MLS, the MLB, the NBA, the NFL, and the NHL. Any teams that are professional but not part of those leagues or part of a minor league do not count. This question actually has multiple answers to it. I found in my research at least 4 different answers, none of which match up with Google's answer, which is Austin, Texas. Austin actually does have a professional sports team. They have a Major League Soccer expansion franchise that just came in this year. They would be the answer if it weren't for that. So the first answer that I went looking for, I got in this way. I went to Wikipedia, the source of all human knowledge, and I went down the Wikipedia list of the largest cities in the United States until I found a city that didn't have a sports team play within its borders. In that case, I found Fort Worth is the biggest city in the US that doesn't have a professional sports team. And that's a pretty good answer. It is the largest municipality in the US that doesn't have a pro sports team. However, it is right next to Dallas, and Dallas has lots of professional sports teams like the Cowboys and the Mavericks and some other sports teams that I don't know about because I'm not a sports fan. Fort Worth and Dallas are part of the same metropolitan area, which is a more accurate definition of a city when it comes to sports teams, because sports fans are oftentimes not in the city where the sports team plays. Rather, they're in suburbs of that city or in exurbs. Since Dallas and Fort Worth are twin cities and part of the same metropolitan area, they really share their sports teams. So Fort Worth doesn't technically have any sports teams in its borders, but it does have some sports teams. So now that we're talking about metropolitan areas, the most logical question to ask is, what is the largest metropolitan area, not city, that doesn't have a professional sports team? In this case, that's not that hard to find either. All I did was went to the Wikipedia list of the largest metropolitan areas in the US and did the same thing for metro areas as I did for cities. Went down the list until I found a metro area that doesn't have a pro sports team. In this case, the metro area that I found was, of course, the Inland Empire in California.
Well, that seems like a very convenient answer.
But the Inland Empire is right next to Los Angeles. Los Angeles is known to be a very sprawling metropolis. It has a geographically large metropolitan area that is continuous with the Inland Empire metropolitan area. Even the Inland Empire is a distinctive city. It's really somewhat subservient to Los Angeles and, for the most part, connected to it. It kind of has professional sports teams too, in much the same way that Fort Worth has professional sports teams. Since the Inland Empire didn't really work for me, it didn't match my definition accurately enough, I went down that list of metropolitan areas until I found another metropolitan area without a professional sports team. In this case, what I came up with was Virginia Beach, Virginia, also known as the Hampton Roads metropolitan area. And this fits the definition pretty much perfectly. It's not close to any other large metropolitan areas. The closest is DC, which is hundreds of miles away. It doesn't have a pro sports team of any kind that plays anywhere near it, and it has almost 2 million people in it. For the most part, this is the answer to our question.
Again, another very convenient answer right here. They're apparently the largest combined statistical area that doesn't have a pro sports team, which is like a metropolitan statistical area, but slightly looser in definition.
Clearly, Virginia Beach doesn't have any pro sports teams, and they are clearly a metropolitan area distinct from other metropolitan areas. However, if you stretch your definition of metropolitan area a little bit more, you can find a moderately larger metro area that doesn't have a pro sports team as well. The Hartford-Springfield Knowledge Corridor in Connecticut and Massachusetts has about 2 million people, about 100,000 more than the Virginia Beach-Newport News metropolitan area. However, the census does not consider the Hartford-Springfield area to be a metropolitan statistical area. It considers it to be two separate metropolitan statistical areas that are very geographically close to one another. Springfield and Hartford are less than a half an hour apart on the highway. They're also culturally very connected as well. So much so that many people in New England consider them to be one continuous metropolitan area of urbanization. Since the Hartford Whalers don't play in Hartford anymore, this area also has no professional sports team, making it the largest area in the US without one. Giving me my final answer. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Friggity Frank Gallo. Thank you for watching Second Civics. Have a wonderful day.